Okay, so this is a 1v1 on grassy flats. Hey everybody. And I'm not playing in this one. This is a replay that was sent to a friend of mine on Steam. And this here, Sweden, this is Point Man, who has a YouTube channel that you should check out, or you probably have checked out. And what had sort of happened is that we had just played a match, and I said, hey, I'm gonna go make a commentary out of this, and Point Man's response was like, dude, the match you just played totally sucked. Why are you going to bother making a commentary on it? And my response was that, well, I haven't been able to put up a video lately because I have not had a good match lately. I've had a bunch of crappy matches with campers and rage quitters, and I haven't been able to put together a replay. I said, well, time out. I'm going to send you this replay that's actually pretty good, and why don't you comment on that? And I said, well, okay. And so that's where we are. This match, it looks to me like the rules were probably medium settings and 2 artillery max with no fixed. Back to play. Point Man has brought what I'm going to guess is a pretty standard build. He has 4 Jaegers. He's Sweden, obviously. And he looks like he has 7 line, 3 of which are lifeguard. There are 5 mounted Jaegers here. And if you haven't had a chance to play with Sweden yet, mounted Jaegers are really good. Really good cav unit. He also has 2 artillery. There is a 6-pounder horse and a 7-pounder howitzer. And then the basic general. And I'm going to try to play this match in the fast forward setting so that I can get it all into the 15-minute YouTube limit. Segue. Here's the opponent. This guy's name is AggonyGrUdGe. AggonyGrUdGe has set his army up into kind of 2 units. I'm going to use the Point Man frame of reference for directions. So on the right side, which is Agony's left, but what we're going to call the right side, he has 4 lights. And you can notice here that my version of Napoleon Total War has this weird bug where the Spanish unit titles don't show up. So I'm hovering over these. These are 60 men in them, so these are the 100 range Spanish lights. But that's kind of going to be a problem. Like, I can't really tell if these line units are the guard unit or not. What this guy's brought are 4 lights. There are 2 horse artillery there, and on this flank there are 3 line infantry units. There's 2 cav. I'm going to guess that's a hussar. We actually get a unit title there. Weird. Basic general. And then over on this side, there's 4 more line units and 3 cav behind them. And this guy has kind of made a weird thing. He's put chevrons on all his units, which, frankly, the quality of the Spanish infantry is not great, so that makes some sense. But I'm not really sure what went behind the logic of why don't you just bring a better faction. I don't know. And he's not using the sort of guerrilla function of Spain, so the decision there seems a little weird to me. What happens at the beginning of the battle, I'm going to go into fast forward here for the rest of it, is that AggonyGrUdGe only moves up on the right side. You see the mini-map. He's not moving his left at all. And initially, the first time I watched this replay, this is my second time, I was a little confused about that. And then I got maybe an answer. Also, please notice that Agony is moving his artillery units there way out by themselves. And Point Man is already shifting his troops out that direction to try to take advantage of that. Now, Agony's obviously pretty good. He's moving these 2 lights and all this cav over to support him. Man, that was a good artillery hit. That hussar is down to 17 already. And what you're going to notice as these 2 guys play is that they're able to act, react, act really fast to each other. And this game winds up being fought at a very high level. And I'm not a big artillery fan. I don't like artillery. And what I don't like about it is kind of the randomness it adds to the game. There's a point later where I think Point Man gets just at a huge disadvantage because your artillery either hit or they don't. And I don't think it's really fair sometimes when one player's artillery hits and the other's doesn't. Agony is bringing up the left side of his line, and what I think his plan was with that was to get Point Man to overcommit to the right side, and then he'd be able to bring up this kind of as a flanking force. That doesn't really work, and you can see that Agony makes a move to the middle here. This is sort of ill-advised. This line unit is running into the fire of 3 units. Point Man is respecting the movement on the left, so he's going to retreat, but this line unit here takes a little bit of a beating from these Jaegers, and I think he's going to pull it back here in a minute. This is kind of what I'm talking about. Over on this side, you notice Point Man used to have 3 cav units here, and just from artillery fire, it looks like Yeah, one of them, did he move one? Maybe he moved one. But these guys are already down to, I mean, both of these units have taken a ton of casualties, down to about 50% strength. Just from artillery fire, which seems kind of random to me. In the middle, Agony has realized that Point Man's a lot stronger than he thought he was, so he sort of advances and retreats. And then over on this side of the line, Point Man is doing the right thing. He's swinging his cav around. Notice in the minimap that Agony only has this one little cav unit here, and he's able to swing these mounted Jaegers around to threaten the left. Agony is about to realize that, and Point Man does the correct thing, moves his line up to engage. He has a short-term advantage here. He has a howitzer putting fire. These cav should be getting involved really soon. Agony respects the move, and so he starts to retreat. A thing that I want to point out to, and there starts an engagement here, there should be an advantage there. One thing I want to point out to newer players is how wide these armies are. These guys are taking up the whole of the map, and what's impressive is that they're able to zoom around to different parts of the map. Let me zoom around here. Look how fast it is. Zoom around, give orders, zoom around, give orders, zoom around, give orders. They're able to do that because their micro is fast. Here's a big cav charge on the left. Point Man is going to move his infantry up, I'm sure, to take advantage of that. Yeah, there you go. That's a really well-timed charge. You might have wanted the infantry move a little quicker, but what he tried to do is get his cav and disorganize the line and then move his own line up to take advantage of that. But the point I want to make is that these guys are using sort of what you might consider unorthodox sort of lines. Their troops are arranged a little more ad hoc individually, but the reason they can do that is because their micro is so much faster. And this gives them a huge advantage because they can jump around the whole battlefield. If there's any kind of opening, they can take it. You just know Point Man's itching to get these mounted Jaegers into a charge here. Just itching to do it. The only thing holding him back probably is canister from that horse artillery. But if you watch this battle and you take one lesson from it, that probably would be it. Sort of back to the play-by-play. Over here, Point Man has exhausted his cavalry with a rush. It kind of wound out as a stalemate. Spanish player arguably has an advantage in infantry over here. He's moving into the cav unit to exploit it. And Point Man retreats. The problem, I would argue, is that the Spanish player right now over here probably looks stronger than he actually is. The quality of his line is not going to be as good as these lifeguards that Point Man has engaged. So the melee charge there, for instance, doesn't really do anything. Since the horse in, I'm sure we go into square. Yep, there we go. And just like that, and there's going to be a huge advantage, this lifeguard is going to have a shoot him out advantage against the line. Oh, square? Come on. Yeah, square, maybe? Well, would have. And just like that, with a couple fast maneuvers, it looked like the Spanish guy had the advantage, but Point Man should be able to carry this pretty easily. He's really got to get to that artillery unit. The same thing's happening over here. It looks like Point Man has a drastic advantage. He sort of outnumbers him 5 to 3 or something. This unit doesn't have a whole lot of guys left. But if you keep your eye on the minimap, you're going to notice the Spanish guy does pretty well here. And in the middle, where the Spanish guy does kind of outnumber him, looks like a horse charge. Ooh, bold move. Point Man actually charges general into at that cav. Point Man at this point is 1 on the left, and he's moving up. He's probably going to take out this artillery unit. Yeah, he's going for the melee right there. So our action on the left started with Point Man had an advantage, charged his cav in. The cav charge was not successful. This resulted in a seeming Spanish advantage. Spanish made the move, and Point Man beat it off, and now has completely routed the left side of the line. He's moved up and taken out that artillery. Looks like the general was going to charge, has changed his mind. Point Man's problem, if there is one right now, is that his 2 artillery units are way back here with only a little Jaeger in the middle of them. This guy should maybe try to get this infantry involved in movement here. That's not going to be a great success. Obviously, these 3 line units can turn back around. And this guy is kind of winning on the right, and so he's going to move his guys up. What is going to happen is that this line unit here is super depleted. It's down to 27 of 80 men. A naked shootout between 2 lights and a line against these 3 units here is not going to be great. What I think Point Man's doing is kind of retreating to give these guys a chance to get back in the battle. And he's got his General Hater Inspire, so they should win just a cold shootout. Yeah, I believe they will. And what Point Man should be able to do is wrap these line units into threat. And here, yeah. And so Agony respects that, and he retreats a little bit. From Agony's position, who's played a great game to this point, is he has this one artillery with 2 guns left. And I think if you did the tally, he's outnumbered on the infantry game. Yeah, everybody's units are super depleted. They both have their general. Oh no! Agony's general has disappeared. Agony, okay, Agony has a big problem. It must have gotten shot by these line units over here. I bet we'd see a general's corpse down here somewhere if we looked hard enough. And, I mean, yes, Point Man is actually doing the right thing. I was about to say, man, he should move that horse artillery, which is what he's doing. I wonder if that howitzer is still really in range. It'd take forever to move it. But move your horse art up, maybe get some canister on these guys, and looks like Agony just limbered and moved. And the Swedish player should. That's an interesting decision. Yeah, those guys took a hit. Point Man tried to charge his artillery up to set up to fire canister here, and I think they got hit by some accurate counter battery fire. Again, kind of the randomness of artillery. Powerful if you're on the winning side, but maybe a little too random. I always think when I watch games like this that, you know, these guys each brought 2 artillery units, and we haven't done a great job of tabulating what those artillery units have done to this point, but so wouldn't you rather have like 2 more cav? I mean, or 2 more full strength line right now? I mean, in my experience, half the time the artillery just winds up in a counter battery thing, and I don't know. I'm not a big artillery guy, but I don't use it, so I don't know much about it. So don't respect my opinion. At this point, the game looks pretty academic to me. The Spanish infantry is all super depleted. Point Man should be able to just. That guy's got canister 46 of 80. He should be able to melee charge there. What I would do is just wait till these guns fire and while they're reloading, run in for melee. And over here, I think it's pretty evident that these 5 line units will be, or these 5 infantry units will be able to take out these 4, especially if he's patient. Is he moving? That howitzer? No, maybe that howitzer's still in range. Anyway, that's to do. Yeah, there goes the howitzer. But that's exactly what Point Man did. He's sending this line unit into melee, and this guy kind of screwed up. He was probably targeting the ground instead of the actual unit, which is better, but it requires a lot of micro on your artillery, and he's trying to limber to get out of there. I wonder if they're going to get there in time. Maybe? No, they just took shots. Not really a good idea. Limbered artillery as opposed to unlimbered artillery are drastically different beasts. I probably don't have time to describe the game mechanics, but the bottom line is that shooting limbered artillery with musket fire is virtually useless. The reason is that the entire unit, when limbered, is treated as a single game object, the same way that a single human in, like this unit here has 80 men in it, each human in that is treated as one object. The difference is that a man in an infantry unit has a hit point of 1, but a limbered artillery unit has a hit point of like 300 or something. I'm probably screwing the details of that up, but this guy kind of got lucky because he limbered right in time when Point Man's muskets opened fire, so he got away. Anyway, maybe I'll talk about that more another time. Obviously, at this point, our prediction has come true. He won the fight over here, and then it's just a matter of a melee charge into the artillery to finish it up. So, in conclusion, I hope you had a good time watching, and I want to say great game to both players. This was played at a very high level, and good game to AggonyGrUdGe, who probably at any point could have won this game with things have gone a little bit different, and good game to Point Man, who showed us some good micro skills, and they both kept the battle really wide, and that's how it went out. So good game to both players, and check us out at twreplays.com.